The room fell silent as the Draxian ambassador stood at the center of the Galactic Confederation Council. His gray-scaled skin reflected the light from above as he spread his forearms in a gesture of triumph. Today marks a historic moment, Ambassador Zork announced, his voice echoing through the chamber. The human threat has been neutralized. Earth lies in ruins. Their colonies have fallen. The war that has plagued our galaxy for 20 years is finally over. Representatives from 12 alien species exchanged glances. Some showed relief, others doubt, but most displayed the quiet resignation of those who had witnessed too much bloodshed. The peace treaty is ready for approval, continued Zork. The Draxian Empire welcomes your surrender and promises fair treatment to all Confederation members who cooperate. In the back of the chamber, a hooded figure slipped away unnoticed. Far, from the political center of the galaxy, the human warship Defiance drifted silently in the shadow of a gas giant. Its systems ran on minimal power to avoid detection. Inside the command center, Commander Jack Miller stared at the holographic display showing the ship's position relative to known patrol routes. "Still clear, sir," reported Lieutenant Olivia Martinez from her station. Her dark hair was pulled back tightly, eyes never leaving the sensor readings. "No Draxian vessels within detection range." Jack nodded. At 42, his face showed the wear of someone who had lost too much too quickly. The gray at his temples had appeared after the fall of Earth. "Keep us dark. We can't risk being spotted now." The door to the bridge slid open and Chief Engineer Nora Wells entered. Her uniform was stained with coolant fluid, hands rough from constant repairs. "Got the comms array fixed," she said, wiping her hands on a rag. "Whatever message comes through, we'll receive it clean now." "Good work," Jack replied. "Any word from the others?" Nora shook her head. "Silent as the grave, just as ordered." The 3 officers fell quiet. They all knew what was at stake. The Defiance wasn't alone out here, but protocol demanded radio silence. The galaxy believed humanity was finished, and for now that belief was humanity's greatest weapon. A soft beep broke the silence. Olivia straightened up. "Incoming transmission, sir. It's using the Phoenix encryption." Jack's heart raced. "Put it through to my station only." The message was text only, brief and to the point. "The nest is full. Birds ready to fly. Dawn comes in 3 days. Collins." Jack deleted the message immediately and looked up at his waiting officers. "It's, time. Operation Phoenix is a go." Nora's eyes widened. "So the rumors were true? Admiral Collins actually pulled it off?" "Never doubted her for a second," Jack said, though the relief in his voice betrayed years of uncertainty. "Olivia, plot a course to the Proxima Nebula, full stealth approach. Nora, I need the engines at battle readiness when we arrive." Both women nodded and moved quickly to their tasks. For the first time in 3 years, there was a sense of purpose beyond mere survival. Jack stepped to the viewport and stared into the darkness of space. His mind drifted back to that terrible day when the Draxian armada had appeared above Earth. The orbital defenses had fallen within hours. The ground invasion followed. Billions dead or missing. The surviving human fleet scattered to the winds. The galaxy had written humanity off as another extinct species, one more civilization that had challenged the Draxian Empire and paid the ultimate price. What the Draxians didn't know, what even most humans didn't know, was that the apparent destruction of humanity had been partly illusion, a desperate plan, conceived in the darkest hours before Earth's fall. Operation Phoenix. 2 days later, the Defiance slipped through the ionized gases of the Proxima Nebula. The purple and blue clouds provided natural cover against sensors and visual observation. Jack stood on the bridge, tension visible in the set of his shoulders. "Are you sure these coordinates are correct?" he asked Olivia. "Positive, sir," she replied. "But I'm not detecting any. Wait." She adjusted her instruments. "Getting some unusual energy readings deeper in the nebula. Could be ships running dark." Jack nodded. "Take us in. Slow approach." The Defiance pushed forward through the colorful gases. Visibility was near zero, but Olivia guided them based on sensor readings alone. After 20 minutes of careful navigation, the nebula began to thin. "Sir?" Olivia whispered, her voice filled with awe. Look. As the gases cleared, a sight unfolded before them that made every crew member on the bridge stop and stare. Ships. Hundreds of ships, human warships of every class, destroyers, cruisers, carriers, and support vessels, arranged in perfect formation. Many showed battle damage, some were cobbled together from salvaged parts. But they were there, hidden, waiting, and at the center of the formation floated a massive vessel unlike anything they had seen before, twice the size of a standard human dreadnought. Its black hull absorbed rather than reflected light. New weapon systems protruded from hardpoints along its length. The Retribution, Jack said softly. So they really built it. The communications officer called out. Incoming transmission from the command ship, sir. On screen, Jack ordered. The view screen flickered to life, showing the face of Admiral Susan Collins. Her once brown hair was now completely silver, but her eyes burned with the same intensity Jack remembered. Commander Miller, she said, her voice strong and clear. Welcome to the resurrection of humanity. Jack snapped to attention. Admiral Collins, the Defiance reporting as ordered. We had begun to think this day would never come. She allowed herself a small smile. Hope is a powerful thing, Commander. For 3 years we've gathered our strength while the enemy celebrated our demise. We've built new ships, developed new weapons, and found new allies. The Draxians believe they've won, and that's their greatest mistake. Admiral Collins leaned forward, her face filling the screen. In 48 hours we launch our counteroffensive. Operation Phoenix moves to Phase 2. The galaxy is about to learn a painful lesson. She paused, her eyes sweeping across the Defiance's bridge crew. They believe the war was finished, but humanity has only just begun to fight. The transmission ended, leaving the bridge in silence. Jack turned to his crew, who were watching him with renewed energy in their eyes. You heard the Admiral, he said. We've got work to do. The real war starts now. As the Defiance moved to join the fleet deep within Confederation space, the Draxian leadership raised glasses in celebration of their greatest victory. None of them suspected that the supposedly extinct humans were about to return, not as desperate survivors, but as an avenging force unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The command deck of the Retribution buzzed with activity as officers moved between stations. Jack Miller stood with his arms crossed, watching the main holographic display where Admiral Collins addressed the gathered fleet commanders. Some were present in person, others appeared as blue-tinted projections. Our first target will be the Draxian outpost in the Vega system, Collins said, pointing to a red dot on the star map. It serves as their main communications hub for this sector. Taking it will blind their fleet movements and give us access to their secure channels. Jack studied the other commanders. Many faces he recognized, but others were new. Some looked barely old enough to have been military officers before Earth fell. The war had forced everyone to grow up fast. Olivia Martinez stood at Jack's side, taking notes on a datapad. The Vega outpost has heavy defenses, she commented. Those phase cannons can tear through standard shields. Standard shields, yes, said a voice behind them, but not ours. Jack turned to see a stocky man with glasses and a scraggly beard approaching. His uniform indicated he was part of the research division. Commander Miller? Paul Wright, Chief Engineer of the Retribution. Paul extended his hand. I've been hoping to meet you. Your combat data from the Battle of Titan was instrumental in developing our new shield systems. Jack shook the offered hand. Glad something good came from that nightmare. You're saying our shields can withstand their phase cannons? Paul grinned. Better than that. We found a way to absorb the energy and redirect it. The more they hit us, the more power we have to hit back. Admiral Collins continued her briefing. Each battle group has been assigned specific targets. Full tactical details are being uploaded to your ship computers now. She paused, looking at each commander in turn. The enemy believes we are extinct. That belief ends today. After the briefing, Jack and Olivia followed Paul to the engineering deck. The corridors of the Retribution were wider than standard human vessels, with higher ceilings. Everything looked new despite the ship being constructed from salvaged materials. "How did you build all this without being detected?" Olivia asked, gesturing at the massive ship around them. Paul led them into a large laboratory where several engineers worked on various devices. "We found allies. Not everyone in the Confederation agreed with the surrender." He stopped at a workstation where a woman with short blonde hair was adjusting some kind of weapon. "Lisa Brown, our weapons specialist. Lisa, meet Commander Miller and Lieutenant Martinez from the Defiance." Lisa looked up and nodded. "The ghost ship. You pulled off quite the disappearing act." "We had good teachers," Jack replied. "The Arcturian stealth tech you sent us saved our lives more than once." Lisa set down her tools. "And the combat data you sent back helped us perfect these." She picked up what looked like a modified rifle. Draxian shield disruptors, reversed and improved from their own technology. Paul moved to another station where a young man with dark skin sat before a complex communication array. "And this is Eric Johnson, communications wizard. He's the reason we've been able to coordinate without the Draxians intercepting." Eric barely looked up from his work. "Built a whole new encryption system from scratch. They still think they're listening to ghost signals when they pick up anything from us." Jack was impressed. For 3 years, he and his crew had been hiding and surviving, occasionally striking small targets when possible. Meanwhile, humanity had been rebuilding, innovating, and preparing for a massive counteroffensive. "Admiral Collins wants you in the tactical room," Eric said suddenly. "Message just came through." In the tactical room, Admiral Collins stood with several senior officers around a large table displaying a 3D model of the Vega outpost. She looked up as Jack and Olivia entered. "Commander Miller, I'm assigning the Defiance to lead the stealth approach on Vega. Your crew has the most experience operating under Draxian detection grids." Jack studied the rotating model. "What's our objective beyond taking the outpost?" Collins tapped a section of the model, and it expanded to show an interior chamber. "Intelligence suggests the Draxians are keeping something valuable here, some kind of new weapon or technology. We need to secure it before they can move or destroy it." "My team can handle the infiltration," Olivia volunteered. "We've got experience with Draxian security systems." Collins nodded. "Approved. Your team will lead the boarding party once the Defiance secures an entry point." Later that day, Jack stood in the observation deck of the Retribution, looking out at the assembled fleet. Ships of various sizes and designs filled the view screen, many showing signs of battle damage and hasty repairs. Yet together, they formed the most powerful human armada ever assembled. "Quite a sight, isn't it?" Admiral Collins said, joining him at the viewport. "I never thought I'd see anything like this again," Jack admitted. "After Earth fell, it seemed like the end." Collins' expression hardened. "That was the plan. Make them think we were finished. Meanwhile, we've been gathering strength, developing new technologies, and finding allies among the Confederation species who saw through Draxian lies." "How many made it out?" Jack asked the question that had haunted him for years. "More than the Draxians know," Collins replied. "About 30% of Earth's population was evacuated before the final assault. The colony ships went deep into unexplored space. Others found refuge with sympathetic aliens." Jack felt a weight lift from his shoulders. Billions had still died, but humanity had survived in greater numbers than he had dared hope. "There's something you should see," Collins said, guiding him to a different viewport. Through this window, Jack could see a massive shipyard hidden within the nebula's densest region. Hundreds of workers moved around partially completed vessels. Some were human, but others were clearly alien. Tall, blue-skinned Arcturians working alongside stocky Rigelians and the insectoid mantids. "Not all of the Confederation abandoned us," Collins explained. "These allies risked everything to help us rebuild. They've been smuggling materials, sharing technology, and providing safe havens. The Draxians have no idea what's coming," Jack said quietly. "No, they don't," Collins agreed. "And neither does the rest of the Confederation leadership. Most believe the propaganda about our extinction." She turned to face him directly. "In 12 hours, your ship leads the first strike, The Draxians will respond with everything they have once they realize we're still here. Jack nodded. The Defiance will be ready. As he left to prepare his ship and crew, Jack felt something he hadn't experienced in 3 years. Hope. Humanity hadn't just survived. It had evolved, adapted, and grown stronger in the shadows. Now it was time to step back into the light and show the galaxy what humans did best: defy the odds. On the bridge of the Defiance, Olivia was organizing her boarding team when Jack returned. The crew moved with renewed purpose, checking weapons and systems with an energy that had been missing for too long. All systems ready, Commander, Nora reported from engineering. The new shield modifications are online. Jack took his command chair and opened the ship-wide communication channel. This is Commander Miller. For 3 years we've hidden in the darkness, surviving when the galaxy thought we were dead. Today, we stop hiding. Today, we remind the Draxians why they should have made sure we were truly defeated. He paused, looking at the determined faces of his crew. Prepare for jump to Vega system. Operation Phoenix is go. The Defiance dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Vega system. Jack Miller stood on the bridge, hands clasped behind his back as he watched the main screen. The Draxian outpost was visible in the distance, a massive ring-shaped station orbiting the system's third planet. Stealth systems functioning at 100%, Olivia reported from her station. No sign they've detected us. All ships in position, added Eric from communications. He had transferred from the Retribution to coordinate the attack. Battle groups Alpha and Gamma are ready at their jump points. Jack nodded. Begin approach nice and slow. The Defiance moved forward, its advanced stealth technology making it nearly invisible to Draxian sensors. 5 smaller human vessels followed in tight formation. As they drew closer, Jack could make out the details of the outpost. Defense cannons lined its outer ring. Patrol ships moved in predictable patterns around it. They look relaxed, Nora commented from her engineering station. No heightened alert status. Why would there be? Jack said. As far as they know, they're at peace. The war is over, and they won. The bridge crew shared knowing looks. After 3 years of hiding and planning, the moment of revelation was at hand. We're in optimal strike range, Olivia announced. Jack took a deep breath. Signal the fleet. Execute Operation Phoenix, Phase 1. Across the Vega system, space seemed to ripple as dozens of human warships suddenly appeared, dropping their stealth field simultaneously. Before the Draxian outpost could react, the Defiance fired the first shot, a new type of energy beam that struck the station's main communication array. Direct hit, Olivia called out. Their long-range communications are offline. On the main screen, Jack could see Draxian patrol ships scrambling in confusion. The station's defense cannons began to power up, but too slowly. All ships open fire, Jack ordered. Target their defense systems and engines. I want that station intact but unable to fight back. The human fleet unleashed a coordinated barrage. The weapons developed by Lisa Brown proved devastatingly effective against Draxian shields. Instead of the expected resistance, the energy weapons cut through the defenses like they weren't there. Their shields are collapsing, Nora reported with surprise. That was even faster than predicted. Jack allowed himself a small smile. Looks like Paul's reverse-engineered technology works better than expected. A Draxian cruiser turned to engage the Defiance, firing its main weapons. The energy beam struck the human ship's new shields, which glowed brightly but held firm. Shield absorption at 60%, Nora called out. We've captured enough energy to power the main cannon. Target their engines and fire, Jack ordered. The Defiance's main cannon released a powerful beam that cut through the Draxian cruiser's hull. The enemy ship listed to one side, its engines dark. Within 20 minutes, the space around the Vega outpost was filled with disabled Draxian vessels. The station itself had ceased firing, its defense systems destroyed by precision strikes. Station. Defenses neutralized, Olivia confirmed. Minimal structural damage to the facility itself. Jack nodded. Begin boarding operations. Lieutenant Martinez, your team is up. Olivia led her boarding party to the shuttle bay. 6 soldiers in advanced combat armor waited there, checking their weapons. Among them was Lisa Brown, who had personally insisted on joining this mission to recover Draxian technology. "Remember," Olivia addressed her team, "we need access to their central database and any new technology. Keep casualties to a minimum, if possible. We want prisoners who can talk." The boarding shuttle launched from the Defiance and approached the damaged station. Through the viewport, Olivia could see several other human shuttles heading for different docking points around the massive structure. "They're not responding to hails," the pilot reported, "but docking bay doors are open. Looks like emergency protocols kicked in when we knocked out their power grid." The shuttle glided into the docking bay and landed with a soft bump. Olivia was first out, weapon ready as she scanned for threats. The bay was largely empty with signs of hasty evacuation. Tools left scattered and cargo only partially secured. "Move out," she ordered. "Lisa, stay behind me." The team advanced through the station's corridors. Occasionally they encountered Draxian personnel, but most surrendered immediately, shocked by the appearance of human soldiers. Those who resisted were quickly stunned and secured. "They really thought we were extinct," Lisa commented as they moved deeper into the station. "Look at their faces. Pure shock." The central command hub was located at the heart of the station. When Olivia's team breached the doors, they found a dozen Draxian officers barricaded behind consoles. The station commander, identifiable by his elaborate uniform, stood tall despite the situation. "Impossible," he hissed in the common galactic language. "Humans were eradicated. Our forces destroyed Earth. Reports of our extinction were greatly exaggerated," Olivia replied, her weapon trained on him. "Surrender your command codes now, and no one else needs to get hurt." Meanwhile, on board the Defiance, Jack received updates from the other battle groups. Operation Phoenix was proceeding equally well at the other 2 Draxian outposts targeted in the first wave. "Admiral Collins is requesting a status update," Eric said. "Tell her Vega outpost is secure," Jack replied. "Minimum casualties on both sides. Lieutenant Martinez's team is accessing their systems now." On the station, Lisa had connected her specialized devices to the Draxian central computer. Information flowed across her screen. "I'm in," she told Olivia. "Downloading their communications, logs, fleet movements, everything." She paused, eyes widening. "Lieutenant, you need to see this." Olivia moved to look at the screen. "What is it?" "It's a deployment order," Lisa said gravely. The Draxians were planning to attack 3 Confederation worlds next week, species that helped humans escape during the fall of Earth. Olivia's expression hardened. "Copy everything. The Confederation Council needs to see this." Back on the Defiance, Jack was reviewing the tactical situation when a priority message came through from Admiral Collins. "The first phase is complete," Collins reported, her image slightly distorted on the view screen. "All 3 targets secured, minimal losses. The Draxians still don't understand what's happening." "They will soon," Jack replied. "What's our next move?" "Broadcast time," Collins said with determination. "Lieutenant Johnson has broken into their emergency channel network. Every Draxian ship and colony is about to learn that humanity isn't as dead as they thought." The Admiral's image was replaced by a view of the Retribution moving into position near the captured Vega outpost. The massive human flagship dwarfed the station, its weapons still glowing from recent use. Throughout Draxian territory, communication screens suddenly activated. Military channels, civilian broadcasts, and government frequencies all displayed the same image. Admiral Susan Collins standing on the bridge of her flagship, the defeated Vega outpost visible through the viewport behind her. "Attention, Draxian Empire," she began, her voice clear and confident. 3 years ago you attacked Earth. You believed you had destroyed humanity. You were wrong. We survived. We rebuilt. And now, we have returned." The message played across thousands of worlds. In the Confederation Council chambers, representatives watched in stunned silence as Collins continued. "This is only the beginning. Your crimes against Earth and other worlds will be answered. You believe the war was finished. It has only just begun." On the bridge of the Defiance, Jack watched the broadcast with his crew. For the first time in 3 years, they weren't hiding. They weren't running. They were fighting back. "Send a message to all human ships," Jack ordered. "Phase 2 begins in 6 hours. It's time to show the galaxy that humanity has returned." The news of humanity's return spread through the galaxy like wildfire. On the Confederation central world of Arcturus Prime, the council chamber erupted into chaos. Representatives from 12 species shouted over each other as Draxian ambassador. Zork tried to regain control. "These are lies and tricks," Zork shouted, his forearms waving frantically. "The humans are extinct. This is clearly the work of rebels using stolen ships." At the back of the chamber, a hooded figure stepped forward, moving toward the central speaking platform. Guards moved to block the way, but the figure raised a hand, pulling back the hood. Woman with copper-colored hair and determined green eyes faced the council. The room fell silent as people recognized her face. "My name is Kate Alvarez, Earth Diplomatic Corps," she announced, her voice carrying across the stunned chamber. "For 3 years, I have lived among you in disguise, gathering information while humanity rebuilt its strength." Ambassador Zork's scales darkened with anger. "This is impossible. Earth was destroyed." "Earth was damaged, not destroyed," Kate corrected. "And now I have proof of Draxian lies." She activated a small device projecting images above the council floor. "These are recordings from the Vega outpost captured just hours ago." The images showed the Draxian battle plans aimed at Confederation worlds. Maps, deployment orders, and target priorities appeared in rapid succession. The Draxians claimed they sought peace, Kate continued, but they planned to attack the Arcturians, the Rigelians, and the Mantids, the 3 species who helped evacuate humans during Earth's darkest hour. The representatives of those 3 species rose from their seats, expressions ranging from shock to vindication. "The Confederation has been deceived," Kate declared. "The Draxians never intended peace. They merely wanted to eliminate their enemies, one by one." Ambassador Zork lunged toward her, but security officers restrained him. "You will all die for this," he snarled, abandoning any pretense of diplomacy. "The Draxian fleet will crush your pathetic human resistance." The Arcturian representative, a tall blue-skinned being named Valdar, stepped forward. "We have hidden the truth long enough. My government has sheltered human refugees since the attack on Earth. We knew the Draxians' claims were false." One by one, representatives from the Rigelians and Mantids stood to join him. "The Confederation treaty with the Draxians is built on lies," Valdar announced. "I move that we formally dissolve this agreement and join forces with humanity." Back at the captured Vega outpost, Jack Miller received the update from Admiral Collins. "The Confederation is fracturing," Collins reported. 3 species have openly declared support for us. The others are in heated debate. Jack nodded. "And the Draxians?" "Reacting exactly as expected. They're pulling together a massive fleet to retake Vega. Our intelligence suggests they'll be here within 12 hours. The station's defenses are at 60%, Jack reported. Lieutenant Martinez has teams working around the clock to repair what we can." Collins's expression was grim. "It won't be enough against what's coming. We never intended to hold Vega long-term, begin evacuation procedures, get the technology and intelligence off that station." "What about the prisoners?" Jack asked. "The Arcturians are sending ships to transport them to neutral territory," Collins replied. "But your priority is to get our people and that Draxian technology out before their fleet arrives." After the transmission ended, Jack found Olivia and Lisa in the station's research section. They were examining what appeared to be a prototype weapon. "What did you find?" Jack asked. Lisa looked up, excitement clear on her face despite her exhaustion. "It's amazing. The Draxians have developed a way to target specific energy frequencies. This could disable ships without destroying them." "Can we take it with us?" Jack asked. "Already packing the key components," Olivia confirmed. "Between this and the data we've downloaded, our engineers will have plenty to work with." A proximity alarm sounded. Jack checked his communicator. "Single ship approaching," Nora reported from the Defiance. "Not Draxian design. reading Arcturian signatures. Our allies are arriving earlier than expected, Jack said. Let's finish up here. The Arcturian vessel docked with the station an hour later. To Jack's surprise, Admiral Collins herself stepped through the airlock, accompanied by Valdar, the Arcturian representative. Commander, Collins greeted Jack with a nod. Change of plans. The Draxians have accelerated their timetable. Their main fleet will be here in 3 hours, not 12. Jack frowned. We're not ready for full evacuation. We're not evacuating, Collins replied. We're making a stand. She gestured for them to follow her to the station's command center, where a holographic display showed dozens of ships converging on their position. The Arcturians have committed their entire defense fleet, Collins explained. The Rigelians and Mantids are sending ships as well. This will be the first joint human-alien operation since before the fall of Earth. With respect, Admiral, Jack said. Even with Allied ships, we're outnumbered. In conventional forces, yes, Collins admitted. But we have something they don't expect. Valdar stepped forward. The Confederation believed Draxian propaganda that your species was primitive and easily defeated. They never knew your true military capability. Collins nodded. Operation Phoenix wasn't just about rebuilding our fleet. It was about developing technologies the Draxians have never seen. She activated her communicator. Retribution actual. This is Collins. Deploy the shroud. Outside the station, the massive flagship Retribution moved into position. Energy rippled across its hull, then extended outward in an expanding wave. As the wave passed over the human and Allied ships, they seemed to fade from view. Mass stealth field, Collins explained. Paul Wright's finest creation. It can cover our entire fleet for 30 minutes, long enough to completely reposition before the Draxians arrive. They'll be firing at ghosts, Jack realized. Exactly, Collins confirmed. Valdar's ships will engage them head-on while our vessels attack from unexpected vectors. When they realize what's happening, it will be too late. Hours later, Jack stood on the bridge of the Defiance, watching as the Draxian fleet arrived. Over 50 warships emerged from faster-than-light travel, immediately moving into attack formation. They can't see us, Olivia confirmed. Their sensors are scanning, but the shroud is holding. The Draxian ships began firing on the station and the visible Arcturian vessels. The Allies returned fire, their ships taking damage but holding position. Admiral, Collins is signaling, Eric reported. The shroud drops in 30 seconds. Jack nodded. All weapons ready. Target their command ships. This is for Earth, Nora said quietly from her station. The shroud field collapsed, revealing the human fleet positioned directly behind and alongside the Draxian formation. Before the enemy could react, every human vessel opened fire simultaneously. The battle that followed was brief but intense. Caught in the perfect crossfire, the Draxians suffered massive damage in the opening minutes. The new weapons developed by Lisa and her team cut through Draxian shields with ease. Their formation is breaking, Olivia reported as enemy ships scattered, trying to regroup. On the main communication channel, Admiral Collins' voice rang out to all ships. Push forward. Show them what happens when they think humanity is finished. The human fleet surged forward, joined by their alien allies. The Draxian command ship tried to retreat, but found itself surrounded. The Draxian admiral is hailing us, Eric reported. With surprise, Collins's image appeared on the view screen. Put him through to all ships. Let everyone hear what he has to say. The screen split to show the face of a Draxian military leader, his scales pale with rage or fear. This is Admiral Krav of the Draxian Empire, he began stiffly. We offer terms for your surrender. Collins actually laughed. I think you misunderstand the situation, Admiral. You're not in a position to demand anything. Krav's eyes narrowed. This victory means nothing. The Empire will send more ships. We will never stop until humanity is truly extinct. Perhaps, Collins replied calmly. But today, the galaxy learns an important lesson about humanity. She leaned forward. We don't stay down, we don't give up, and we certainly don't surrender. She cut the transmission and addressed the fleet. All ships resume fire. Jack watched as the combined human and alien fleet closed in on what remained of the Draxian forces. The message was clear. The war that the Draxians thought they had won was far from over. Word of the victory at Vega spread across the galaxy. In the days that followed, more Confederation species broke from the Draxian treaty. The balance of power shifted as former enemies became allies against the Draxian threat. On the bridge of the Retribution, Admiral Collins studied the strategic display with Jack and Olivia at her side. The map showed Draxian territory in red, with human and allied forces in blue pushing steadily inward from multiple directions. 3 weeks of fighting, and we've taken back 16 systems, Collins noted with satisfaction. The Draxians are falling back to their core worlds. Their supply lines are stretched thin, Olivia observed. Our hit-and-run tactics are working. Jack pointed to a specific location on the map. All roads lead to Draxus Prime, their homeworld. Collins nodded. That's our final target. Take their capital, and this war ends on our terms. The door to the bridge slid open as Paul Wright and Lisa Brown entered, followed by engineers from 3 different alien species. Admiral, Paul began excitedly, we've got something. The technology we captured at Vega, combined with Arcturian field manipulation and Rigelian energy systems, we've created something new. The Draxians have been developing a planetary shield generator, Lisa explained, but we've modified it. Instead of keeping things out, our version can contain them. A prison of energy, added a Mantid engineer, her translator converting the clicks of her language to words. Strong enough to hold an entire fleet. Collins raised an eyebrow. You're suggesting we trap the Draxian defense fleet rather than destroy it? Exactly, Paul confirmed. Less bloodshed, but the same strategic outcome. The Draxians wouldn't show such mercy, Jack commented. That's why we're not Draxians, Collins replied firmly. This war isn't about revenge. It's about securing peace. A real peace this time. 2 days later, a combined fleet of human and allied ships approached the Zeta system, the last major stronghold before Draxus Prime. The Defiance led a special task force separate from the main fleet. Keep us in the shadow of the moon, Jack instructed as they approached the 4th planet. We can't be detected before the main battle begins. On board, Olivia prepared a small team for a critical mission. She checked her equipment as Jack entered. The ready room. The fate of the war might rest on what you find down there, he said. Olivia nodded, securing her weapons. Intelligence is solid. If the Draxians have a superweapon, it's in that facility. Just get in, confirm, and get out, Jack emphasized. The main fleet will draw their attention, giving you a window of perhaps 30 minutes. We'll make it. Count, she promised. As the main battle began in orbit around Zeta 4, the Defiance deployed a stealth shuttle carrying Olivia's team to the surface. They landed in a rocky canyon 3 miles from the Draxian research facility. Move fast, stay low, Olivia ordered as they exited the shuttle. The team advanced through rough terrain, avoiding Draxian patrols rushing to defensive positions as alarms blared across the facility. They're completely focused on the space battle, noted Lisa, who had insisted on joining the mission. They have no idea we're here. When they reached the perimeter, Eric used a device to bypass the security system. We have 18 minutes before the system resets, he warned. Inside, they moved through corridors largely emptied as personnel had been called to battle stations. The few Draxians they encountered were quickly subdued with stun weapons. According to the schematics, the main lab should be 2 levels down, Eric guided them. When they reached the central laboratory, what they found exceeded their worst fears. A massive device occupied the center of the room, pulsing with ominous energy. It's a stellar detonator, Lisa whispered in horror as she scanned the machine. It could trigger a supernova in any star they target. Can you disable it? Olivia asked. Lisa studied the controls. Not without setting it off, but I can download the specifications. Maybe Paul can figure out a countermeasure. While Lisa worked, Olivia found computer terminals with strategic plans. They were going to target the home stars of every species that allied with us, she reported grimly, starting with what's left of our solar system. Suddenly, alarms blared. "We've been detected," Eric warned. "We need to move now." As they rushed back toward the exit, Draxian soldiers converged on their position. A firefight erupted in the narrow corridors. "We have to get this data out," Lisa shouted over the weapons fire. "It's too important." Olivia made a quick decision. "Eric, take Lisa and the data, get back to the shuttle. We'll hold them here." Above the planet, the space battle raged. The Retribution led the Allied fleet against the Draxian defense forces. From the command deck, Admiral Collins watched as the enemy ships formed a protective ring around the planet. "All ships in position," reported the tactical officer. "The Draxians have committed their entire home fleet. Activate the containment field," Collins ordered. From 4 specially positioned ships, energy beams shot forth, connecting in a web-like pattern around the Draxian fleet. The energy expanded into a shimmering barrier, trapping the enemy vessels inside. "Field stable," Paul confirmed from his station. "They're not going anywhere." Collins opened a channel to the Draxian command ship. "This is Admiral Collins of the human fleet. Your ships are contained. You cannot escape, and you cannot win. I offer you one chance to surrender." There was a long pause before a response came. The view screen showed the Draxian Emperor himself, his ornate armor gleaming under the lights of his throne room. "You dare to dictate terms to the Draxian Empire?" Emperor Vor snarled. "We would rather die than submit to lesser beings." "That can be arranged," Collins replied calmly. "But first, you should know we've discovered your stellar detonator project on Zeta 4. The Emperor's scales paled slightly, the only indication of his surprise. "The galaxy will know you planned mass extinction," Collins continued. "Is that the legacy you want for your people?" Before the Emperor could respond, an urgent message came through from the Defiance. "Admiral, we have a situation," Jack reported. "Lieutenant Martinez's team found the superweapon, but they've been cut off. Lisa Brown and Eric Johnson escaped with the data, but Olivia and 2 others are trapped." "Hold position," Collins ordered. "We'll send reinforcements." The Emperor laughed coldly. "Your troops will be dead before help arrives." Collins fixed him with a hard stare. "This is not how any of us wants this war to end. Too many have died already. Draxians, humans, and others. I'm offering you peace, not extinction." On the planet below, Olivia and her remaining team members had barricaded themselves in a control room. Draxian forces pounded at the door. "Last power cell," one of her soldiers reported, checking his weapon. Suddenly, the pounding stopped. Through the security monitors, they watched in confusion as the Draxian soldiers fell back, taking defensive positions instead. "What are they doing?" Olivia wondered. Her answer came when her communicator activated. "Lieutenant Martinez, hold position," came Jack's voice. "The Draxians have called a ceasefire. Reinforcements are on the way." In orbit, Admiral Collins faced Emperor Vor across the view screen. "Your choice is simple. Surrender honorably, or we activate the containment field's secondary function, compression." "You're bluffing," the Emperor challenged. "Paul, demonstrate on one empty sector of the field," Collins ordered. A portion of the energy field contracted dramatically, crushing empty space into a fraction of its previous size. The Emperor's expression became unreadable. "What are your terms?" "The Draxian Empire withdraws from all occupied territories. Your military is reduced to defensive capabilities only. You will pay reparations to Earth and other worlds you've attacked, and you will submit to oversight from a new galactic council, with representatives from all species, including humans." After a long moment, the Emperor nodded once sharply. "So be it." 1 month later, Jack and Olivia stood on the observation deck of the Retribution, watching as Earth came into view. The planet still showed scars of the Draxian invasion, but lights from rebuilt cities shimmered across its night side. "Hard to believe we're actually home," Olivia said softly. Jack nodded. 3 years of hiding, planning, and fighting. Worth every second. Admiral Collins joined them, looking out at the planet. "The first civilian transports will start returning next week. The rebuilding will take years, but humanity has proven we can face anything and survive." "What happens now?" Jack asked. "Peace," I hope, Collins replied. The new Galactic Council meets tomorrow. Representatives from 26 species working together. And if someone else decides humans are easy targets? Olivia asked. Collins smiled grimly. They'll learn the same. Lesson as the Draxians. Never assume humanity is defeated. We always find a way to come back stronger. As ships from a dozen allied species moved into formation around the Retribution, the message was clear to all who watched. The war the Draxians thought they had won had indeed finished, but not as they had expected. Humanity had arrived in full force, and the galaxy would never be the same again.